There's a conversation happening in doctors' offices all across the country right now. Maybe you've even had it yourself recently. You sit down on that crinkly paper, you tell your doctor that you're feeling wiped out, that your muscles ache, or that your heart just doesn't feel like it has the stamina it used to. And what do they say? They look at your chart, they smile, and they tell you, well, your lab work looks fine. You were just getting older. What was your biggest takeaway from today? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're new here, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to keep up with our journey to better health. I am Dr. Matao Jamee, and I'm here to tell you that just getting older is not a medical diagnosis. It is an excuse. We spend so much of our lives worrying about the big stuff: cholesterol numbers, blood pressure readings, what the scale says in the morning. We get so caught up in those metrics that we completely overlook the engine that actually keeps the whole machine running. It's a bit like driving a car cross-country and only watching the speedometer while completely ignoring the fact that the gas tank is bone dry. Your heart beats roughly 100,000 times a day. It never gets to take a vacation. It doesn't get to rest when you sleep. To pull that off, it requires a staggering amount of cellular energy, and that energy comes from a specific molecule our bodies make called CoQ10. Think of CoQ10 as the spark plug for your heart. It lives inside your mitochondria, those tiny power plants in your cells, and its entire job is to turn the food you eat into the raw energy your heart uses to contract and pump blood. But there is a catch, and this is the part of the story that most people simply don't realize until it's too late. By the time you hit your 50s, your body's natural ability to produce this molecule starts dropping off a cliff. By the time you are in your late 60s or 70s, your body's making a fraction of what it did when you were 30. It's a slow, quiet decline. You don't feel it happen overnight, but the impact is incredibly real. I think about a patient I worked with not too long ago, a guy named Bill down in Sarasota, Florida. Bill was 74, a retired contractor who'd spent his whole life building things with his bare hands. He was used to being strong, he was used to being independent, but over the last few years he started dreading the stairs in his own home. He was doing everything his doctor told him to do. He was taking his prescriptions, he was trying to keep his diet in check, he was going for walks when he could. But he felt like he was moving through wet concrete. His heart was tired, his muscles ached constantly. And that's the thing. The heart is the most energy-hungry organ you have. When it's running on a deficit of CoQ10, everything else in your body starts to struggle to compensate. And that brings us to a massive elephant in the room: statins. Millions of Americans over the age of 50 take a statin drug every single day to manage their cholesterol, and they do work for that purpose. But here's the reality of how they work. Statins are designed to block a specific metabolic pathway in your liver that creates cholesterol. But here's the rub, and it's a trade-off that rarely gets mentioned in a 10-minute doctor's visit. That exact same pathway is the one your body uses to produce CoQ10. You block one, you block the other. So you have people like Bill trying to do the right thing for their heart, taking their statin every morning, and inadvertently starving their heart muscle of the very spark plug it needs to function. It's a drug-induced depletion. If you're feeling unexplained muscle aches, heavy legs, or just a profound sense of fatigue, you might be dealing with a deficiency that is entirely preventable. So, naturally, you decide to take action. You drive down to the local pharmacy, you walk down the vitamin aisle, and you see rows and rows of CoQ10. You grab a bottle, you start taking it, and nothing. You don't feel any different. Here's where it gets tricky. Most of what you see on those pharmacy shelves is a cheap, oxidized form called ubiquinone. Now, if you're 25 years old, your body can take that cheap form and easily convert it into something usable. But as we age, our bodies lose that conversion ability. It's like trying to put the wrong key into a lock. You can push and jiggle it all you want, but the door is not going to open. For folks in our age bracket, you have to look for the active form. It's called ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is already broken down. It's ready to go to work the second it enters your system. It doesn't require your liver to do any heavy lifting. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but it's actually getting absorbed into your tissues. But even if you buy the right form, how you take it matters just as much. Do not just pop this pill in the morning with a glass of tap water and call it a day. CoQ10 is fat-soluble. It needs a transport system to get from your stomach into your bloodstream. If there's no fat in your digestive tract when you take it, a huge percentage of it is just going to pass right through you. You're literally flushing your money away. Take it with a meal that has some real healthy fats. Have it with your morning eggs. Take it with a handful of walnuts, a slice of avocado, or even a meal cooked in olive oil. That one simple tweak will massively change how much of this molecule actually makes it to your heart. I usually suggest starting around 100 milligrams for a baseline, but if you're working with your doctor on a specific cardiovascular concern, or if you're on a statin, we often look at 200 to 300 milligrams. And the best way to handle that is to split it up. Take half with breakfast and half with dinner. And please, manage your expectations. This is not a cup of coffee. You're not going to take it on Tuesday and feel like a teenager on Wednesday. You're rebuilding cellular energy reserves that have been depleted for decades. Give it 4 to 6 weeks. Be consistent. Take it with fat. That's when the change actually starts to show up in how you feel, how you walk, and how much energy you have at the end of the day. One quick safety note before you start tweaking your routine. If you happen to be on blood thinners like warfarin, please have a quick chat with your prescribing doctor first. It's a simple safety measure, but an important one because of how blood clotting works. I put together a guide, a 7-step protocol for keeping your arteries flexible and your heart strong that goes into much more detail on how to integrate all of this into your daily life. It's completely free, and you can find the link right below this video. Growing older isn't always easy. It demands a bit more maintenance. But I can promise you this, life is a whole lot more enjoyable, and you can keep your independence a whole lot longer when your heart is actually firing on all cylinders. Take care of that engine, and it will be there for you. I'm Dr. Matao Jamee. I'll talk to you soon.